The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
We sure are. Good evening. Scottish Cup weekend. It kicks off tonight. Rangers up against Annan Athletic. Welcome to the programme. You know the number, 0808 17 17 700. There's a buzz about this place. It's Friday. The team are in great form here in the studio, listening on radio and also on YouTube, where you can catch us live. And I'm hearing we're on Spotify as well. More details coming soon. Who have we got tonight? Well, two guys who've played in Scottish Cup finals. Peter Grant, of course, with Celtic, and James McPake, who was there with Hibs. James, welcome back.
Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Peter. Good to be back. I think
James.
Peter's got better memories than me for
I know,
Scottish Cup
I know.
finals,
But listen, to get to a cup final at Hampden, we all grew up, boys, girls, watching football, and cup final day, usually sunny, and it must be the pinnacle, Peter.
That was the biggest dream,
Yeah.
Paul. For me personally, it was to play Celtic Rangers in a cup final, sunshine out, because you've seen it all, because it was built up with the English game and the Scottish game. You've seen it for early in the morning as a kid. You were out practising out the back, and that was the ultimate dream. Go and beat Rangers in a cup final, the sun shining, and thankfully managed to do that.
You did it, yeah. What year? What was the scoreline?
That was 89, a very fantastic Rangers team. We just won the double a year prior. Rangers were going for the treble this year.
Joe Miller,
fantastic goal. People will say mistake by Gary Stevens, but it was still a fantastic decision by wee Jody. Obviously, all strikers do. You know, when people make mistakes, and it was a very, very good Rangers side. And I thought anybody looking back would deservedly win on that day.
Right, don't worry, we're not still talking about it, Peter.
I am.
Peter's still, we're right up to date with the news on transfers. You'll miss nothing here. But in the first minute, we're talking about the 89 and whether or not...
Good job there was no VAR, but that's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Good job there was no VAR.
Get over it. And James, the cup final, did you ever think you would play in one as a boy in Lanarkshire when you were playing keepy up? Were you any good at keepy upping?
No.
I know you were.
No. Same as Peter. Like you watch it, it was always a big day. It still is a big day in our calendar. Final game of the season normally, and you're dreaming then to lead a team out at Hampden. Look at, didn't they go great on the day?
Yeah, sure.
But
that was the Hibs Hearts one, so
yeah. And then I missed the following year's one with injury as well. So that was
against Celtic, wasn't it?
3-0, I think. Yeah. Celtic won that one, but no, like again, it's things in your career now. Maybe when you're older, you look back on, and unfortunately, it didn't go for us that day. But it was still a good experience. Leading up to it.
Peter still sometimes is spotted wearing the suits from Cup Final Day. That natty
Don't you worry about that? Just the badge comes off.
From 95. You shove it back on, I think.
Absolutely.
Depending where you are.
I hated it when they changed it to tracksuits, because that was the only suit I could get.
You were smart. So, what's your dreams for the Scottish Cup? Give us a call. 0808 17 17 700. I don't think many people thought it was going to be Aberdeen who would win it last season, but they did. And so what's going to happen this year? Who is going to win it? And often I say, right, take out Rangers, take out Celtic, who do you think? But this year, Hearts are the best team in Scotland. If you look at the league table, 50 points. They're ahead of Rangers and Celtic. Celtic now in second spot, but they're both in 44, Hearts in 50. So James, who do you think is going to be in the cup final this year, or a couple of teams that you fancy to go all the way?
I said it on Wednesday night, Paul. I've got a wee fancy for Motherwell. Okay. I just think, again, like you've got to be fortunate with the draw. You've got to, at times, hopefully get home draws, avoid certain fixtures, which I think in those two Scottish Cup runs we were speaking about, we were fortunate that you avoid Celtic or Rangers until, well, Celtic in the final, and I think it was 2013. But no, I think I'll go. I said it Wednesday night. I fancy Motherwell, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm not changing on it. I like the way they play, and they'll be looking. And I think it's a good point you make there. With Aberdeen winning it, it's kind of giving everyone a wee boost that Celtic in particular, and Rangers won it a couple of years ago, but those two teams aren't untouchable. You see what Hearts are doing in the league, so I think it's giving everyone a wee boost and they'll fancy it.
So Motherwell playing anybody, or just Motherwell in the final? Is it going to be the Hearts, the best team in the country, or are they?
I don't know, that's what they're talking. I'm going Motherwell Rangers in the final.
Motherwell Rangers, right? Okay.
Motherwell to win.
Do you know what? There's no former Rangers player here tonight, because Rangers are playing, and of course with Billy Dodds and Neil McCann going to Kilmarnock, the BBC's been wiped out of it. And Billy was with us quite a lot as well, and Neil's been on, the two of them really good. And Barry is at Ibrox. Yeah, well, indeed. He'll be at Ibrox tonight. Kelly, great cup team as well. I'm just looking at all the different names. Peter, what do you think? Who's going to go? A couple of names to go all the way in the final. to
on
the
the
final.
performances so far, I agree with James in the respect of Motherwell, what they've done. They've learnt from being at Hampden, but the draw's got to be kind to you. You know, that's always important. I've won the cup down in England when the draw was very kind to us early in the stages, and you need that. And we could have been out in the early stages against weaker teams.
Was that Birmingham City?
Yeah, and we could have been out against weaker teams then, and then all of a sudden you get further in the competition, you get a home draw, which is so important. All these things. I still think the big two, Celtic and Rangers, they'll be fighting out. They'll be right in there to the death. But if there's an outsider, if you're going to say out with the two, I would say Motherwell and Hibs as the two teams that I would look at and think they've got if Hibs hold on to all their players in this window, they're capable of being a cup side this year, absolutely.
Come on, give us calls. 0808 17 17 700. So, guys, you're not going for Annan Athletic against Auchinleck Talbot in the final.
No, but I'm going for Annan tonight as a surprise.
Oh, are you, Peter? Yeah.
I'm only joking.
No, I know. Mind you, this time last year, this is where it all... I know it was going wrong for Philippe Clement, wasn't it? And then, of course, the Queen's Park game. Then I had another one, was at St Mirren, they lost. And suddenly I was getting the call.
It does tell you, Paul, as James spoke about there a minute ago, how difficult the cup is. When you got to the cup final,
right.
I was at Celtic, Pittodrie, a couple of weeks, 10 days prior, I think.
It was.
And it was 5 or 6, but it was going on 10.
Yeah.
And then Aberdeen came here, dug in, Celtic had chances, not that many. And Aberdeen played a different system and won the cup final.
I remember asking you, you said there's only one way Aberdeen can beat Celtic. Because Celtic had almost some second stringers out that night. You know, there's some players who weren't playing regularly. James, you'll remember it.
Yeah.
Celtic absolutely battered them at Pittodrie.
Yeah, I can remember that game, and it does. It just shows you what can happen in cup football as well. And Aberdeen come down, they had a game plan, and I think it was a reminding ourselves back on it. It was a really poor cup final to watch, and we're speaking this competition up, which we've every right to do because it's our national cup, but that final wasn't great. But from an Aberdeen perspective, it's something that those players, and I know the manager's gone now, but the players and fans will remember forever.
Who scored the Celtic goal? Do you remember?
I'm trying to think, was it Daisy Maida?
Cameron Carter-Vickers? Would that be right?
You could be.
I shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to.
No, you could be right, Paul, for a set play ahead.
The reason I'm asking you is, I think Charlie McGrew said after, he said he thought there was a lack of real celebration from Celtic, as if they're going to win the trophy. And you just wonder, something happened. Celtic were chasing a treble at that point, beat Aberdeen, and everyone thought they would, and they didn't, and the treble didn't happen. So you saw changes had to be made in that team, and there's not been much change since then. On the pitch, there have been some players have come in, but you know where this is going. Transfer window, we're checking all the time for you, but there are no updates so far from Celtic. Nothing from Rangers either. Andreas Skov Olsen, we understand he's had the medical. Maybe they're going to parade him tonight ahead of the game. I don't know, but Rangers have been really active, as you know. Celtic, we're still waiting to find out. Now, Martin O'Neill came in, 10 days ago, 2 wins. So he's doing what he's brought in to do. But you do wonder, what are we, 16th of January? Still no word, Peter, from your old club.
But there's absolutely no doubt, Paul, there's been a change. Because nobody expected Martin to be back in once Nonsi was in. So there's no doubt of that. So you can understand a little bit of time going, because I am absolutely positive that Martin would be looking at different players to Nonsi was looking at, different way of playing. And Martin likes ready-made players as well. Somebody can come in and hit the ground running. And he'd done that the first time he was here when he brought all the stars up and made them a proper team. But it was players that could just fit in like a jigsaw puzzle, and he knew they would perform. And then you'd obviously the Golden Goose and Henrik. Yeah. You know, but you'd other guys. You'd all other guys like Sutton and Hearts and all these guys coming in, Thompson. So he built a team that he knew would suit them, and that's what he's wanting to do now. And I can guarantee you, I don't think Martin would bring anybody in just to fill up the numbers, because I think he thinks he's got enough of them. And I just think now, unless it's someone that's going to improve that group, Martin won't rush it.
Let's hear from Martin O'Neill. We'll hear from Danny Roll. We'll hear from the two Liams. Liam Kelly, the Rangers keeper. I would imagine he'll be playing tonight. We'll give you the team news fairly soon. And we'll hear from Liam Scales, who's speaking about his time under Wilfred Nancy. In fact, let's hear that first.
I just feel like in the last few years, the majority of my games have been played as a centre-half in a back four. So when you're asked to do something different, it can be difficult. Especially at the start, and I really didn't have time to develop into that role I was being asked to do. So yeah, it probably is. I'm just more used to playing in that position, even though I've played in a back three before at different clubs and stuff. It's having played for a couple of years here in the same system and having the same sort of tactics. Yeah, I'm just, I suppose, comfortable in that.
And of course, he was mentioning he didn't want to, but he was asked about the Darvo result. What was that, 3 years ago, when he was at Aberdeen? Of course, that ended, the career there of Jim Goodwin, who, of course, now is at Dundee United. Celtic fans, what are you looking to see happening? They've been holding talks, I see it's on a number of the outlets, for a Leeds United striker, Joel Pirro. So, of course, they're part of the 49ers, Peter. I mean, I don't know if that's out the kind of budget range that you would expect Celtic to spend.
I don't see that happen, Paul. He's one of the first substitutes in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money on him. I'm sure he was from Swansea, scored a right few goals down there, and he'd be a fantastic signing if there was any interest. But I don't think Leeds, unless they're bringing someone, and that's the only way you could see if Leeds were bringing another striker in and they were wanting someone out the door. But he'll be still in very big money, obviously. But I'm sure Celtic, if they thought it was the right man at this moment in time to take someone loan, he's ready because he plays in games. He's been involved in it. That would be a very good signing if you could get him.
I see at Anthony R. Joseph, it says Celtic would prefer a loan deal. They can meet the wage expectations.
I think at this point in the season and just everything that's surrounding Celtic at the minute, Martin's only into the summer as it stands as well. So, look, and you're getting... Peter just explained it there. If you're getting a player that's been playing, that's involved in big games as well, then I don't know, a lot of people at times will say, loans don't work, and nonsense for me. Like, if you're getting good players in that are wanting to come at your club that you've got a plan for, then the loan market can be a very successful one for managers. Sure. And I think that is the point when you can get players that are maybe on a higher salary, a salary that's out with what you can normally pay, then you've got to look at it. 2 loans that worked well. Vaclav Černý at Rangers, Adamida at Celtic.
Absolutely,
Cup
100%.
final.
Well, listen, it worked fantastic for Norwich as well because of the amount of money they got for him.
Course.
After having
was that 8 million?
Yeah, but after having such a fantastic... Listen, he should still be there. I keep saying it.
Of course.
He should still be in the club. There's no doubt in my mind of that. But there is... Listen, the thing you look at as well, Paul, is see if you can get clubs that's buying people down south. If they're buying players in that position, you look at them and say, well, they maybe let their third choice out now. That's what you've got to do. That's the way you've got to work it. And I'm sure that's the way Martin will be working it. All the things you've studied prior to it, that goes out the window because you know you need that now. So let's see who's bringing in. So if Manchester City signed a striker, for instance, now their third choice becomes fourth choice. So you've got to look at it that way, and that's the way you've got to play this game.
All right, the 49ers' involvement, would that affect anything? Listen, we don't know. Could this happen? He wants to play. But would he be moving? Would the 49ers want to go? Because they
why would you? Rangers think they're right in there for the league. They'd be looking at taking him if they wanted that to do it that way. And he's good enough to play for Rangers or Celtic.
What do you think? 08, 17, 17, 700 cup final. No, it's not the cup final. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's the 4th round of the Scottish Cup, sponsored by Scottish Gas. This is the Go Radio Football Show with our friends at Burger King, James McPake, Peter Grant and Paul Cooney. 08, 17, 17, 700. We'll hear from Martin O'Neill on signings. He's speaking about Callum Wilson as well in a few moments. But first of all, Liam Kelly looks as though he'll play tonight, the former Motherwell goalkeeper and one of the Scotland keepers. He was asked first of all about Queen's Park. So a year ago, it all went Pete Tong for Rangers, and they haven't forgotten it.
Aye, obviously, I think on that day, obviously, everything that could have possibly went wrong. So, like you say, it was an awful thing that happened at the time, but in a way, it's something to remind us that if we come off the boil, then we're going to get punished. And listen, the way the manager's been since he came in the door, I don't think he'll be allowing us to take our foot off the gas at all. And it's an opposition we're treating the exact same way that we treated Celtic. We're just preparing the exact same way.
And obviously it looks as though he'll play tonight.
That'll be great. Obviously if the manager selects me, then I'll be delighted to play again. Obviously I know how difficult it is to get one game for Rangers. Coming through the academy here is obviously a real privilege if you get one game, so every chance you get to play, obviously I'm really grateful. So if I'm selected, then I'll be delighted. It's a game we'll be taking absolutely 100% serious. We know Annan are capable of having some good results. Obviously they beat East Kilbride around about the Christmas period as well, who are really good in their league. Got some good players. Obviously just recalled Tommy Goss, one of their main strikers, who left them for his fife at the start of the year. So obviously my wee brother's in League 2 Scottish football, so I watch a lot of Scottish football. I'm aware of the situation. Willie Gibson's a manager who I've played against a number of times when I was on loan at other clubs. So a game that we're taking absolutely serious, desperate to win, and also we get the major shock and upset last year, so we've got the biggest reminder possible that we can't slip up.
James, cup shocks happen, but if it was to be Annan Athletic tonight, that would be the biggest ever in Scottish football, maybe?
Yeah, we were speaking of one a wee while ago, the Darvel one.
Yes,
That was
yeah.
huge, but I think even this one tonight with the form Rangers are in.
Sure.
And
it's Rangers.
I know, and again, like, last year was bad enough when Queen's Park went there and won for Rangers and their fans. So no, like, I don't see it tonight. I thought that was a good interview for Liam Kelly.
Yep.
And I like him, and just the passion he's talking about getting a game, and he's right. That wee reminder of last year that there's no doubt there'll be players in there. I'm not quite sure Danny Rule will be speaking about it because he wasn't there, but it might be brought up in some respect. But certainly the players that were involved will be speaking about it, that we don't go out here, we don't take it lightly, and you don't ruin what you've been doing with the good work in the past 4, 5, 6 games, whatever it's been for Rangers. I think they'll be fine tonight and win comfortably.
You both watch football everywhere. I think you go up to East Kilbride quite a lot.
I do, yeah.
Peter, you watch everything. What's the standard like between the two? You know, Rangers... top.
Oh, there is a gulf. There is no doubt of that. There is a
But
gulf.
how wide?
It's massive.
Yeah.
No, you'd expect it to be massive.
Of course.
I think the other divisions between each other, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of guys stay part-time, and James will know, a lot of them stay part-time because it's better to have the job all the time.
Yeah.
They've got families to look after, some very, very good players who could play full-time, but they don't get the money.
You
for it.
admire them, don't you? They knock their pan in.
fantastic,
They work
absolutely.
from, 6, 7 in the morning.
That guy's coming in at quarter
Yep.
past 4 in the morning and turning up to travel at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Sorry?
Quarter past 4 in the morning.
Where
they were
was
coming
this?
in. Alloa.
Alloa.
They were coming
Wow.
at quarter past 4, half past 4 in the morning, travelling themselves up, and I'd meet them in Inverness, and then they'd play the game for us and they'd go straight back to work.
Wow.
And they were just doing it because of the love of the game. You know, they really did love the game, and a lot of them could play. When I was at Alloa especially, a lot of them could have played full time, and I used to ask them the question because I was intrigued, and they said, we love it, Gaffer, we love the camaraderie you get with the boys, and that's why we do it. And if I can't go every summertime with my job in jeopardy. You know,
Right.
I'll be
Yeah,
going full
sure.
time, maybe getting freed or getting transferred, and I've got to move the family, and I've got to depend on a new contract. I mean, you think about it, it's quite a good way to look at it for some of them.
Absolutely.
And
You know?
Peter, going back to that
Yep.
Alloa team of yours, and there's others, but some of those players were the better players in the league
Yeah.
at certain
Were they?
points. Yeah,
Yeah.
And again, Peter's right, they might have had good jobs, and that's bringing them in a good wage. Probably
Your team was full-time, obviously,
yeah,
confirming.
but and Peter will tell you, and I'm not just saying that because we're sitting here, but we struggled against his Alloa team. Like, they had a really good way of playing. I can't. There were a free draw in there. There were a draw at Dens Park as well. But the point, just some of those players that they're probably in jobs that pay a wage of a full-time player in that league. So for them to come out of that, and then you've got all the problems that you spoke about. But the gulf's even bigger tonight because it's at Ibrox. It'd have been different if it was at Annan.
course,
Going
yeah.
back to that, so I think that adds to it as well.
It's been that way, Paul. You remember a player that played along with the great Davy Cooper and all them at Clydebank, Kennedy.
Of course.
He was an unbelievable
Of course. He
striker.
played for a long number
Yeah,
of years.
He was an unbelievable striker.
Yeah.
Scored a hell of a lot of goals.
Not the tallest, was he?
But we wouldn't go full time because he was making more money with Clydebank, his job, and playing with Clydebank at that particular
What
time.
job was it? Is it still available?
I don't know if it was a fire. He was involved
Right,
with firemen
okay,
or something
yeah.
at that particular time.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, Paul, he was making more
Yeah.
than probably the Celtic and Rangers players were making, believe it or not, with his combined work with Clydebank and his job at that particular
People
time.
wouldn't have believed that,
no,
would they?
But that,
Yeah.
it was.
Sure.
And that's why he wouldn't go full time.
Let's hear Danny Rose speaking. We'll hear him later about the Cup game tonight, but speaking about Andreas Skov Olsen, he couldn't confirm it yesterday afternoon, but, well, let's listen to this.
I'm not a good poker player, but now we are in the process. It looks very positive, but as long as it's not confirmed and everything is through, then I cannot tell you too much. Let's keep working like we did by the last two signings as well.
Rangers have got off to a flyer in the window anyway. We're now on the 16th of January and they've got a couple of players in already and maybe more to come. So they're obviously... Do you think, James, it's because they think, wow, we didn't think we could win the title in our first year, but we might not get a better chance?
Yeah, that's part of it. It certainly is, in my opinion, but also that when they made the change, it was well before Celtic had made the change. Look, we've seen Hearts bring players in already in this window. They're up there. They'll be believing that they can go and win the league. Celtic, of course, believe they can win it, and Rangers now believe that they can go and win it. So just the fact that I think they're maybe six or 8 weeks ahead of Celtic in terms of when Danny Rule came in compared to Martin O'Neill, that's like they went out. I don't know an awful lot about the players they brought in, but the fact that they're doing their business pretty quick and just the way you hear Danny Rule speaking about them suggests it's been players that they've been targeting. So look, but again, And I probably sitting the other night speaking about it, and you're going, well, Celtic still haven't brought anyone in, but we've still got 2 weeks left in this window as well.
Don't panic, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. It will. Phil actually is on YouTube saying, will Matondo and Dowell get a run out tonight for Rangers? So they're obviously trying to offload some players. You would imagine they would be 2 of the ones that they might.
I'd be surprised, Paul, because if they're not going to be part of the plans, why would you give them that feeling to let other people see them? Everybody knows Kieran Dowell. You know, they know Matondo, you know, they know these guys. So if they're not going to be part of I'm only talking, I don't know what James was thinking, I'm only talking if I was the manager. If they're not going to be part of my plans, I'm not going to put them in the shop window. I want to win this game. Rangers were embarrassed last year in the Cup. Embarrassed, and the boys had to live with that. And they'll have to live with it, not just now, forever. We've nearly done it, Paul, in the double win, and you'll remember Stranraer.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
went on to win the double, but we could have been out to Stranraer, you know, sort of thing. So all these things, and it lives with you forever. And if I'm Danny Rowell, I'd be wanting to keep that feel-good factor. And I also think there's a psychological thing. See, if you make too many changes, the players think, oh, the gaffer's not taking it serious. And that's when you end up tripping yourself up. And I'd be very, very wary of that, both being Celtic and Rangers making so many changes.
All right, we're going to hear from Martin O'Neill about signing shortly, but we'll take a quick break and then your calls. 0808 17 17 700.
Show with Burger King.
I'll tell you, Go must be doing really well. Peter Grant is going to be doing the traffic as well on the way to the game. The Rangers fans will love that going. Is that a selling point, can we say tonight? Yeah. That's it. Hello there. Big shout out to where it is. Just watch the Larkhall interchange. I'll be watching for you, Rangers fans. Don't you worry. It's, game day. Whole weekend of Scottish Cup. Culminating, starts tonight with Rangers against Annan Athletic, and then it finishes Sunday night at 5:30, Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic. Not the best time for football fans, is it, on a Sunday evening? But look, be a lot worse if you were out of the Cup. And Aberdeen against Raith Rovers on Sunday afternoon. James, what's your game this weekend? I think I know. It's one of the best ties.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Dunfermline v Hibs at East End Park.
On the telly?
Yes, and I think there's a bumper crowd expected for East End Park.
Good.
Hibs will bring a big away support as well. So, no, I'm looking forward to getting back.
Who's your co-commentator?
Kevin Thompson.
Oh, good player, wasn't he? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ex-teammate at Dundee and Hibs. So, no, it should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a good one for Neil as well, isn't it? His old club, Hibs.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
manager of Dunfermline just now.
Yeah.
I know when it's your old club, you always want to go back and do well against them, you know, and Neil will be no different.
Let's hear from Martin O'Neill speaking with the media today after that win the other night. They got the win at Falkirk. Hey, it wasn't easy. Peter, you flew through there afterwards and you saw the game. We'll speak to you about it in a moment. But he was asked this afternoon, Martin O'Neill, any closer to any signings? Oh, there's an error's come up here. We might fix this in a moment or two. So, how do you know how to fix this as well, Peter? So you can do the traffic. You know your football.
Nothing to do with computers, Paul.
Okay,
nothing electric.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work.
I think we are, but we're definitely a bit closer. I dread these interviews. I really do, because I just like the natter. It's good fun, but I dread the questions coming up. You know, please, I can't wait until the 2nd or 3rd of February.
Of course. I mean, you do feel for him. But look, hey, he's been over the course, and Celtic fans thought there would be some signings. Peter, do you expect some big signings, or is it going to be probably more loans rather than actual spending cash to I get the feeling it might be loans.
I've got a feeling like that as well, Paul, because I think maybe the other ones won't be available to buy. And the fact that James spoke about it earlier, is Martin going to go beyond the summer? And they've got that problem now because we're talking about Wilfred Nancy, and I don't like bringing Wilfred's name up because it's unfair on him. But he'd have been looking at different players, and that's a problem you've got now. So Celtic are in a wee bit of a catch-22 situation. Martin will want ready-made players if they're available. He'll look out there and he'll think, well, I'd like him. He would know what he'd want. He's not going to bring in guys, it's just, as I said earlier, it's just going to bump the squad up. They've got some good players there who have not performed at their best. If they perform at their best, they're a very good squad. But they still need help. We said that prior to this, but desperately need a number 9. There is no doubt in my mind of that. Whether they get that, I'm not so sure.
Well, we spoke about him the other night, James. You played alongside him as a young player, Callum Wilson. What's the latest on the West Ham? Well, he was best known, wasn't he, as an England and Newcastle United striker, Callum Wilson. James, that's over to you, I think. We're going to play it from another part. We've got a gremlin. So
I can't tell you anything that's, for want of telling you, it was news to me at the time. But we are in search of those elusive goal scorers, and but we're not the only team as well. Anyway, on a serious note, no, can't tell you anything about it, but we are, is it becoming my favourite phrase, we are making progress. It wasn't, I hadn't thought about that. Not that he's not a very, very fine player, and but I thought that he was. I thought he was going elsewhere.
Saudi Arabia has been mentioned for him. In that chair last night, Charlie Mulgrew said, "Right, Celtic should go for Lawrence Shankland, Kisaridis," and then he mentioned Braga when he did another sip of the water there. I think it was. There's no way Hearts would sell them, but could you see that in any universe, that happening?
I couldn't. I understand what Charlie's saying, particularly on Shankland. Like he's guaranteed the goals, but and we questioned this at the start of the season, potentially the end of last season. Why aren't Rangers taking him? We know he wanted to go to Rangers. Barry's then come on and said he was interested in him. You were getting him for free, and only after Derek goes goes into Hearts, does Lauren Shanklin decide to stay and sign a new deal? So if it was going to happen then, it would have.
Yeah, sure.
I understand what Charlie's saying, because it significantly weakens Hearts, but again, I don't think Hearts would do it.
And the Rangers fans wouldn't like it either, because he's a boyhood Rangers supporter who probably wanted, if it had been Barry Ferguson as manager, he'd be playing for his boyhood heroes.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, Paul, that used to happen many, many years ago.
Yeah.
You went and taken the best players, and that always happened at the end of the season. When I played, you could sign them every week.
Yes.
So there's a difference, you know. But if anybody was doing well at Motherwell's, the Phil O'Donnell's, God rest him, you had the Tommy Coynes, you had the Brian McClare, same Motherwell, you had John Collins and that at Hibs. Talked about Kevin Thompson going to Rangers.
Yeah.
All that, Scott Brown coming to Celtic.
Of course.
So that's why I think we should look at that as well. And that's why I said a couple of months ago, I said about Kieran Bowie. I said I would offer 3. I said what they would look for. They would look for 6, and that's come out recently. They're looking for 6, and I'm saying no. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't take him for 6 at this moment.
So you wouldn't, if you were in charge.
Not
of
for
Celtic.
6.
No, sure.
But in saying that, Paul, if you've not got what Celtic have got now and attain 6, I would take it, because I think he would score goals that would win you the league. I think he would score goals for Celtic or Rangers, because he create a lot of chances, and I think he's only going to get better, so there may be a bit of value in him as well, getting more money back as time comes, because English clubs are always looking for that type of player, powerful, strong, and he's done that, and if he keeps progressing, he will move on anyway. And people say, they should wait a little bit longer, wait 6 months. By that time, Celtic Rangers can't afford them, because championships in England will come and pay more money than Celtic Rangers will.
Rangers, looks as though, we mentioned it last night, James, Lyle Cameron could be on his way to Pittodrie on loan, and that's unusual, but there's a link there with the sporting director up there. Gets on well, I think, with Danny Rule. So it looks as though that's going to happen. Good for Lyle Cameron to get football.
Well, I think it is. Look, again, a player I worked closely with.
Of course.
And he got his move. He done great for Dundee, and over the moon for him. Great kid.
What's he like?
Brilliant. Just wants to learn all the time. And
is he quiet, or is he a bundle of...
No, he's quiet. He's pretty quiet around the place. All he thinks about is football. Very inquisitive in terms of when you're showing him things on the... I'm going back 2 or 3 years ago when I had him.
Not that long ago, but
But even I had him in the youth team when he was 14 and all the way through, and he was like that. He was like a sponge. Just always want to learn. Technically outstanding, fitness-wise brilliant. Obviously, we see the height in him, but again, I don't think that goes against him too much. But I think that moves... That's a great move for him. Like, he's back up north and closer to home a wee bit. Like he's came down. It's not worked so far, and I think his confidence will be a bit low.
Where's he from?
He's from Dundee.
All right,
So getting back up there and just going and playing.
Lochie, Dundee or somewhere, or up there on the hill or whatever. And was he on the FIFA and all that? Because that's what the young ones enjoy, isn't it? Playing the...
But Paul, to be fair, he was very
obsessed.
unfortunate, because I thought he was doing very well for Rangers in a really difficult time.
Yes.
I thought he was one of their best players. There was no doubt that he could handle it. And that's what I liked about him. He could handle it. And you're looking at him and you're thinking, he's came from Dundee, you're going to ask questions about him. He ended up being Rangers' best player when he played. Then he got picked up an injury, and then he was left out the side. Then a new manager comes in, and everything changes, and that's just a bit unfortunate. But James is right. I think for him, he's got to go out and play. And if it's Aberdeen, go and play, son. That's the advice I'd be giving him.
Here's a bit more from Martin O'Neill on the importance of bringing in new players.
It's essential, absolutely essential. We I think we know that anyway, So, but obviously, no, we can't change the squad around for the Bologna game, but all next week I'd like to have some people in for Hearts if it's at all possible.
Wow, that's a week on Sunday. 25th of January, the Hearts game. That is going to be one of the matches of the season, Peter.
It's massive. Listen, if Hearts win that means they've won 5 out of 5 against Celtic and Rangers. That would be incredible. If they don't go on to win the league, you're asking big questions. There is absolutely no doubt of that. That could become pivotal next week, because psychologically, if Celtic lose it and Hearts win it, as I say, they become... Jerrick's already talking up now that they're champions in weight, as and such. They're winning games with 10 players. You had Craig Gordon's save last week. All these things. And they've been there before. I've told you that before.
Indeed,
they've been there before. Sure. It's the fans that's more nervous for them. Derrick's trying to put that confidence into them. You can sense that. And now he's getting that little bit. Now we're ready to be champions and getting the... And that's what you need. You're giving the players that belief. we've played them all now, we've beat them all now. So that's all he needs to do. And if they continue to do that, that's where they go. So next week becomes massive. Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. That's pivotal.
We heard him on the programme last night. We had some clips of Derek McInnes, and I think it's the first time, James and Peter, that you've heard him actually talk about the title race, and they're up there. And I guess there is a point as a manager where you do have to start saying it. You know, they're in the lead. It's not one, of course it's not. But as Peter said, they've won twice against Celtic, twice against Rangers.
Yeah, and it's certainly the first time I've heard them, and I've been sitting back thinking when, because he gets the question probably since 10 games in, after the fantastic start, he gets the question week in, week out, are you title challengers, have you got a chance of winning this league? And I thought he's handled it great. Well, the one thing I think I can guarantee, I don't think it'll be the first time he's mentioned it to the players. I think within that dressing room, as the weeks were going on, knowing Derek and the way he is and the way he motivates his teams, that would have come up a lot earlier, Paul, and it was actually good to hear him coming out and say it. And I think Peter's right. It was for me that the players will have heard that from Derek, but I think it was more for the fans and everyone about that. No, like, just everybody relax. We know where we are, kind of thing. We know what we're doing, and it was refreshing to hear him coming out, because again, every week in my head I'm thinking, when's he going to say it? Like, 'cause as I said, that question's coming from every single person that does an interview with Derek. So to hear him say it the other night, and let's be honest, I'm surprised, because I sat here maybe 8 weeks ago and says no. Like, I don't even think they'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. And the other night I said for the first time that I'm starting to worry about that as well. So no, it's fair play to them. What a job Derek's done since he went in.
Without doubt, it's a three-way title race. There's nobody else in it. Motherwell had a brilliant season. Hibs in and out, a really good team as well. But in Motherwell, everyone impressed. But it's down to the top three, Peter. You did say, let me see the transfer window before I give my final verdict. You said Celtic at the start of the season. I mean, remember, Paddy Power paid out after a couple of games. But now, so I'm not going to ask you again tonight, because I don't think you're going to change.
But the thing you would say about Rangers is, Rangers have got three bodies in.
Yes.
And they'll improve the team. Yep. I know the two of the players they've signed.
Yep. Which one's Chikwani?
Yes, and the winger. I know the winger, who, if he plays at his best...
Scov Olsen.
There's no wonder they paid £12 million for him the last when he gets sold. Because he was a top quality player who runs really, really well with the ball. He played excellent with Bruges when I seen him, and a few occasions I did see him, and I thought, big superstar in the making. He was that good. But I'm not so sure what he's like off the pitch, because he's that couple of moves. There's always a question mark. And you look at Hearts, they've got game changers. They've got Shanklin's goal the other night. That was excellent finish for a striker.
What did you like about it?
Just the way he glided it, and just only strikers do that ball.
Right.
And Celtic don't have that. That's the difference I'm saying at this moment in time. They don't have somebody who just glide the ball into the back of net. Johnny Kenny's a wee bit tight. He's a young man. He's a bit tight. Dyson Maida, you know what I've said about him many times. He'll miss more than he scores. And that is the problem. When Celtic have always had maybe three strikers, but every one of them would score 30 a season. That was the difference, And I look at it now, and I think Rangers have done a very good window. Derek psychologically is telling everybody else now, letting the fans, as James says, as well, but also letting his players know, we've got a belief here, we've played everybody now. And you'd be stupid not to. I would rather be in Derek's position than anybody else. I've said it all the times we've talked about Celtic. You can let Celtic's at the top getting chased. I would rather be at the top of the league. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. I want to be at the top of the league.
And they've got that 6-point buffer. And, you say a lot of games to go, but it's going down every week, 1-2 games, depending on what's happening. OK, Rangers, very much in the title race. Let's see what Danny Rule was saying about it when he was asked yesterday.
Yeah, the title race is very close at the moment. There are three teams. They are fighting for something. We make our job as best as we can. We were in the last couple of weeks very clear what we want to do and what we have to do. This is the good part. And from this point we go forward. I think still 14, 15 days to go. Let's see what is possible on the market. But of course, if you have three players in very early, it's early for me, in the middle of the month, then we make so far a good job.
0808 17 17 700. We're back in a moment.
Football Show with Burger King.
Just want to say thank you to so many people who have made the switch in the last couple of years. In the last couple of weeks, wow, a huge number of people enjoying the Go Radio Football Show, and I want to thank you for making the switch, and also for all the contributors, because I know we can laugh about it, but the respect that I have for everybody who comes in here, and I think the level of conversation about football, Peter, James and everyone else, you're really honest. There's no agenda. I mean, everyone sees everything differently, but we come to it. We love the football, and you know what you're talking about. We can have a bit of a laugh as well, but it's serious business. And I think, I'm just giving you some of the feedback that we're getting. More and more people listening in DAB, they catch up wherever they get their podcast, and also we're on YouTube now. So thank you, everyone, and spread the word. Subscribe and follow. Whatever that means.
I think the
Peter,
thing is,
follow.
Paul, I'm saying no.
Steady, right, on you go. Sorry.
No, but I think we've all been there. James has been a manager, I've been a manager. You know, success or failure, it doesn't matter. So we try and see it from the manager's point of view, because it's easy us sitting here saying, Martin O'Neill should have signings in. Yeah. But you don't realise, James will tell you the amount of work you're putting in months in advance. And Martin's getting a couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks, a couple of days. And all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, all the work it goes in from one window to the next window, especially nowadays, because it used to be when I played, it was day to day, you could be sold and bought. Sure. It's completely different. So there's a hell of a lot of work goes into that, types of players the manager wants. So all these things, and we try to put that side across and make sure that people understand that it's not as easy as what you think. And we try and put the problem and say, well, if you're saying that, what would you do? And I think that's only fair. We try and back the managers as much as we possibly can. We try and say with the players that nobody's never not trying, all these things, because we've been there. We maybe have bad games, the team's maybe going through a bad time. We try to put that perspective, and I think that's important.
But I think for the fans as well, who are really knowledgeable by and large about football and deserve that respect as well.
Yeah,
and they've got access here by calling in, or you can email us, you can WhatsApp, you can text, or whatever. James, you love your football. You're not in management at the moment. Peter's not in management. So there's a lot on tonight. We won't have time to talk about why you're not in just now. It is strange, Peter, what you've done. And at the moment, you're not in football management. But I know you miss it day to day. James, do you miss it?
Yeah, more and more, I think, as the time goes on. And I don't know if that's the way it is for Peter as well, but more the training. Like, I know that when people will say, well, everything's about the game. Of course it is. But look, when names like, we're just speaking, Lyle Cameron pops up and you think back to just being able to be on the pitch and taking sessions with players and trying to help players. I miss that side of it, and it's not to say I don't miss the games. Of course I do. It's what I've done as a player and then a manager as well. But just the day-to-day. And that's why I love coming on here, and I'm glad you spoke about the callers as well, because I think when the callers come on, they give you that as well. And Peter's right, you're trying to explain, but they've got valid points at times as well. And you actually go away thinking it's not like a training session, but you go away and you're going, actually, that was a good conversation, a good footballing conversation that you just had. And no, but I miss out in, and I miss being on the grass and just that feeling of taking a training session and trying to help players out. A lot of them, I'll say I didn't help them. That's fine, but
hey, it's not a popularity contest, is it?
Absolutely not.
You can't keep everybody happy.
More so nowadays, Paul. You see it. Yeah. You see it. I thought the Xabi Alonso thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking upon it and I'm looking down at the chairman and I'm saying, if I was the chairman, I'd have made a stance against Mbappe, not against the manager.
Mbappe had too much power, didn't he?
No, telling the players to come away. But get Xavi Alonso, the type of player he was and the type of respect he had for others, he was trying to respect Barcelona. He wasn't trying to belittle his players, and we understand that. And he was trying, but for him to say no and wave his players away and everybody else to follow like wee lambs, the chairman should have made a statement about him more than he should have been about the manager. I thought that was really disrespectful, to say the least.
The Sun Online are saying that the three-way title race, if it continues like this, the split then after the 33rd game, for the last 5 games, there is going to be an imbalance, because to try to keep all three of them, somebody gets a game at home more than others, and it's normally Celtic and Rangers, but this year it could be 3, and one of them, or 2 of them are going to be I'm not that good at maths, but one of them is going to be unhappy at least. But look, that's a while away. We've had 22 games so far. Hearts on 50, Celtic and Rangers on 44. Let's hear a bit more from Martin O'Neill about the signings. He spoke about it. the threat often like Talbot, people do talk about banana skins in the cup.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course they can, and they have some very, very decent attributes. This is not. I mean, they are top quality junior side, no question about it, and they've got players who have played as well. So it's not as if this is not a junior team like under 11s or something like that they were playing, And to get here this distance as well, it's been a brilliant effort.
Obviously, Celtic, you were there, Peter, the other night. It was a win for Celtic, but Martin O'Neill himself said, that was a tough old night.
It was more than a tough old night, Paul. Falkirk were excellent.
Yep.
Probably deserved something out of the game. Celtic were very fortunate, but that's what we talk about magic dust. Martin seems to get a victory, and that's what you've got to do as a manager. When you're not playing, go to St Mirren game and Callum McGregor scores late in the game. All these things, and these are the things that Danny Rowe's done at Rangers as well. Derek's done it with having players been sent off. So the three of them are doing it in different ways. Celtic have not played well, even in a lot of games with Martin there the first time.
Sure.
Feyenoord was excellent. He had a couple of other performances in there, but a lot of them weren't like fantastic. Sure. So the other night there, I think, got out of jail. There is absolutely no doubt that Kasper Schmeichel is a late save with an error at the back, and he's right about Auchinleck, because the one thing that concerns me about Celtic is set plays always. And you could imagine Auchinleck having big, powerful players, good deliverer, and that's all you need.
Big Ayrshire boys.
Yeah, and if you keep the ball alive or get free kicks or give silly free, they could ask you questions. So that's why I think Martin will be at this sort of position, because he's got this game, he's got Bologna, and then he's coming back to face Hearts at Tynecastle. So how he's balancing this team over these next three games is going to be really, really important.
So changes for Sunday evening?
I think so.
Well,
I seen a picture yesterday. I don't know if it was from yesterday. It meant he was back in training. I seen it in the actual speaking to someone, but he looked as if he was on the training ground. That'd be a plus to Celtic, because there was no doubt in the cup final, when he started the cup final, he made a difference. And I genuinely believe, and I know it's because St Mirren thoroughly deserved to win it, but when he was on the pitch, Celtic looked a much better side. There's absolutely no doubt that.
Celtic's hopes almost left with, you didn't realise it at the time, but when Ian Atcho went off, it wasn't the normal Celtic that you think would play all the way to win the final.
No, absolutely. But he was excellent in that period. He can take the ball in. That was the thing I was going to say about Mayday the other evening there. The ball kept bouncing off and they couldn't build anything. Falkirk would pick the ball up and then go and attack Celtic at pace, but play with a style as well to get there at the other end of the pitch and create chances. And listen, Celtic were very fortunate, but that's what you've got to do. When you're wanting to win leagues, you've got to win games when you're not playing particularly well. And I would say the three of them are doing that at this moment in time.
Sure. Stuart's on from Cambuslang, 0808 17 17 700, says, I don't want to pinpoint one player, but what's happened to Arnie Engels? His distribution, he said he just couldn't play the ball. Every ball went a missed pass or went out of play or whatever. He thought he had a particularly bad game. He's a huge Celtic fan.
Yeah, he'd never had a great game, to say the least. But against Dundee United, I thought he was one of the best players. And I think Arnie's one of these players who's got all the tools. But I could have said that about many Celtic players the other evening there. But I thought on Saturday against Dundee United, I thought he played really, really well. He had that freedom to run forward, and I think he arrives in the box. He scored a great goal with running in the box, which I think is his strength, arriving on things from the edge of the box, a midfield runner. And there's definitely a player in there. I just think it's because the team is not playing well, Paul. There's nobody. Liam Scales up to Wilfred Nancy came was Celtic's best player. Yeah. There's no doubt of that. And then he played one game or two games under Wilfred Nancy and was left out. Martin puts him straight back in again, and he's still Celtic's best defender. There's no doubt of that. And that's what I mean. So sometimes you need to have the team playing well to see other players playing well. And I just think on Saturday when the team played well, I thought Arnie Engels was excellent at the weekend.
0808 17 17 700. What about your team in the Scottish Cup? We have a full card kicking off tonight at 7:45, Rangers against Annan Athletic. One of the stories we mentioned briefly last night is that Panathinaikos, apparently, under Rafa Benitez, they want the Rangers captain James Tavernier. Now, James, I can't imagine he would go just now, but he'll be out of contract, 34-year-old in the summer. My goodness, he'd love to go and sign off, if he does sign off, with a title win. But James Tavernier, what would you feel? Could you see him going to Panathinaikos?
I probably could now. Yep. I think the games he's played for Rangers, his stats, but you hear it every time he scores another goal.
90 league goals.
Yeah, it's incredible that in over 500 games and just the couple of trophies he's won, like that'll be his disappointing one. So he'll be desperate, as you say, to win the league this year. I just think he's been left out. The character he's shown, I think, is incredible as well, because different managers have left him out the team. He's taken a lot to stick up here, and that happens when you're the captain of the team that's not winning. In Glasgow, you're under more scrutiny than any other player. So
and when you were running Dundee, as manager, you must have been talking about the set pieces, and the name James Tavernier must have come up for your defenders to watch every single play.
Yeah, it did, and I'm sure he scored the winner at Dens, a penalty. I'm sure he did, in a 1-0 game. But not just that, like the way he can cross the ball for different areas, his set play delivery. He's certainly a threat. I think he's done great for Rangers for the money that he did cost. He's been here a while now, and he's been a good player for Rangers. But maybe we've been saying it for a while. It's the time for him to go, and I think maybe now, and for him off the back of the league title, that would maybe draw him back in.
I don't think he got the testimonial, did he? That maybe he deserved.
But also the fact is, when you look at a Celtic and Rangers match and he's not starting, and he's your captain. I think there's a worry then. The only thing I don't see him moving this window now is because of Sterling's that got another injury. Because Max Aarons was there, maybe they could have done the back up and played right back if Max Aarons doesn't go back now. Or maybe they'll get another right back in. But I don't see it happening this window. But I definitely believe if Sterling would have still been fit, I'd put my shoes on my foot. I'd be saying, even if I was James Tavernier, I'd be saying, I'm going, because I'm not playing anymore and I want to continue to play. And I look at him and I think, give him his due. James has touched on it there. Every time he turned up to work, he was on there.
Barry said he was the first to get in for training, last to leave.
And also the fact is, Paul, even things weren't going well, he'd go out as a captain and stand there in front of the press and get vilified all the time. And he constantly done it, to be fair to him. You know, he's constantly done it, and great credit to him. But I think if he wasn't involved and the players available, he'd be away.
That's half time. News is coming next, then we're back. 0808 17 17 700.
Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Yep, and we'll bring you first the Rangers team for the match tonight with Annan Athletic. What a night for those players. The Annan lineup will give you the Rangers team fairly shortly, 7:45 kickoff. Taylor is on her way to the match tonight. She's looking forward to it. She's confident but not complacent, and that's probably the right way to be for a game, because you can never tell in the cup. 0808 17 17 700. We should have asked her scoreline, what she reckons what it's going to be tonight.
5-0 Rangers.
Do you think
worry
so?
about
Yeah.
that.
Taylor is on her way from the Go Radio Football Studios, heading there tonight. I thought, look at her working tirelessly until late in the evening. Hey, she does anyway, but it's great. Jim is listening in Tunbridge Wells, down south. So Jim and Ali and Gabby and Nikki enjoying the programme. So Jim is a huge Celtic fan, comes up at times, James, but can't get here all the time. But it's amazing when you move abroad or down south or wherever, people love to talk about their team, and in Jim's case, it's Celtic.
No, they do, and they love listening to, as they say, Scottish football when you go away. Even when Peter, I'm sure, was the same when I went down south. You always tuned into what was going on in Scotland. Even though you were playing in England, you always wanted to know what was happening up here, and it's the same for all the fans. And
you don't get that much down there, do you? About Scottish football. You do a bit in TalkSport, to be fair, and there's so many Scots there.
But Paul, it's weird.
Yeah.
James is right. I was at Norwich, Celtic Supporters Club,
Yeah.
Bournemouth, Celtic Supporters Club, London, Celtic Supporters Club, all these places I was living, they had Celtic Supporters Club. Same with Rangers.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. They love their football. They're probably more passionate because they move away and they've got to show everybody, because people talk about Liverpool, Man United and whatever. But Celtic and Rangers, and I've said to you before, out with Manchester United, I still think that's the biggest jobs in British football, with the pressure it comes the most.
Just to clarify a couple of things from earlier on, still no signings at Celtic or at Rangers, although perhaps Andreas Skov Olsen will be revealed tonight. It's gone quiet today, but he was in town for the medical, so we think that will go ahead. In the first hour, it's been mentioned, it's on lots of the websites, Joel Pirro, striker, Dutch striker, isn't he, at Leeds United, not getting a regular game, but he comes on. He'll not be coming to Celtic. So it sounds as though there was no way that was going to happen with Parag Marat, vice chairman of Rangers, being the vice chairman of Leeds United.
Well, you think about it yourself, Paul. Would you do it? Absolutely not. You're in a race with someone, you're going to give him one of your best players. And there's no doubt Pirro could play for Celtic or Rangers.
Yeah.
And if he was available, I'm sure Rangers would take him. There is absolutely no doubt. He's got that capabilities to score goals, and there's no doubt he would score goals in Scottish football.
yeah, and I've got to agree with Peter on it, that if that move was anywhere near or likely to happen, it would be to Rangers. It's just with the link and, as you say, the vice chairman being there and the quality of that player. And if Celtic could afford the wages, then Rangers certainly would as well when it comes to just a loan move. So that there's no way that the 49ers would allow that to happen, or nobody that's got any influence at all at Rangers is going to help Celtic out, and vice versa.
Yeah. Rangers fans are, I nearly said loving it at the moment, but the word is, well, until the last week, saying they're not playing brilliantly, but they've now just, I think, saying, OK, there's another 3 points. Was that 5 wins in a row under Danny Rule? Danny Rule, therefore, was asked about what's happening behind the scenes and the link with the board and what's going on with recruitment.
I think I said this from the beginning on, how we set up at the moment. Our communication, our direction is great. I think Andrews is very helpful. He is very on front foot. I like this. But we are also very clear what we want. I can always give my opinion. I give my recommendation. Then the recruitment give me recommendations and suggest some players, and then we sit together again, and then we look through the videos, to the data. We make some calls to make sure how's the characters, and then we look if it's possible to do the deal or not. And at the moment, it looks, we are really strong because we make strong decisions. We are not just talking, we are really acting at the moment and doing, and this is great. We prepare everything, and we have to continue. We know we want to strengthen our squad. We have to be very competitive in the second half of the season.
The defence so heavily criticised earlier on, not so much recently. And Liam Kelly was speaking about his number one keeper, of course, Jack Butland.
I think, honestly, I like if somebody's no good, I just say they're no good. If somebody is good, I say they're good. Like, I think Jack's been amazing for us this year. I think he has been brilliant. I think he's won us loads of points. Gives me a sense of comfort and sense of satisfaction that he is playing that well, because kind of justifies me that I'm maybe pushing him as best I possibly can, that his performance levels are that strong. I think he has been really good. I'm his biggest supporter. We talk all the time, whether it be things we can improve on, things we could have done better. We're always looking for ways for us to get better. Loads of parts of his game I like to look at, I like to learn from, and he's having a fantastic year, and ultimately he's having a big help in the team as well.
One of the best keepers in the league, James?
Definitely. Look, the mistake I can remember was the one at Tynecastle for Shankland's goal a few weeks back, but he's recovered well, makes big saves week in, week out, and he had the wee spell last season. I think it was when Barry was in charge, and Barry put Liam Kelly in for a few weeks. The two of them are good goalkeepers, but I think Jack Butland he's steady. Like, he's had a good career so far, and coming up to Scotland, I think he's done well at Rangers, and he's a big part of that team, and the reason they're keeping clean sheets, because we spoke about Craig Gordon's save the other night, but I'm no comparing saves, but Jack Butland, like Kasper Schmeichel, Peter's already brought it up, Jack Butland makes big saves as well, and you need that, particularly, you say, when you're chasing a league title, you need your goalkeeper to make big saves, and he certainly does it.
He sure does. Liam Kelly's distribution is one of the best in the league. Peter, would you agree? That was mentioned last night.
Absolutely. Listen, Liam Kelly's a very good goalkeeper, but Jack Butland's the best out of the two Rangers goalkeepers. There's no getting away from that. But Liam Kelly's a very good goalkeeper. That's why I questioned it when he let Motherwell at the time. I know it's Rangers he's going to. But for me, he's too good to be a number two, if you understand what I'm saying. I know goalkeeping's a different position, and people talk about money and it's his club, Rangers and whatever. I understand all that. But you can't beat, James will tell you can't beat that Buzz Paul being that guy that's out in the pitch.
That must be so hard.
Especially,
Fit,
as I'm saying, goalkeepers maybe must be slightly different, and that's why I can't question that, because I don't know. But being an outfield player, there is no way I could have went into my work the fact that I was going to be second choice all the time. And great credit to him. And to be fair to him, he's always been ready when he's been called upon, and that's the biggest thing he can do, as Craig Gordon proved last week. The only thing for me is, I thought Craig Gordon was a better goalkeeper than the one that was playing for Hearts anyway. I think it's a blow that he's taken over and the boy gets sent off. I think it's a blow for Celtic and Rangers, because I think Craig Gordon will make saves that the other boy wouldn't have made.
So he's going to stay in after the punishment?
I
it's only one game, isn't it?
I'd be very, very surprised.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Craig Gordon's a better goalkeeper.
James?
I said the same the other night in terms of, I think the two goalkeepers are good. He's played a part in the team, and Derek will make that choice and what he believes will help going for the next however many games. But I think it's exactly what Peter says, a massive blow for Celtic and Rangers. The fact that not only is Craig Gordon a fantastic goalkeeper, we've seen that with saves, but he's won league titles. He's, for me, the only player in that Hearts dressing room. Obviously Derek's done it at Rangers, but I can't think, I'm probably wrong, but Craig Gordon is the one that's went to the wire with Celtic. He's played in cup finals, he's played in league deciders for Celtic, so he knows that feeling. And I think coming in, and I don't know, it worries me for Celtic and Rangers more if Craig Gordon's in the Hearts team.
Liam Kelly spoke about his international colleague, Craig Gordon. What a week for him.
Maybe people stop talking about his age now, honestly. Like, as if it has any relevance to anything. That's the only thing. Like, if he was 24 and making that save, then you'd be like, amazing. So the fact he's 43 and making that save, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if he was a 25-year-old goalie, like, just judge him for the goalkeeping. Like, he's an amazing goalie. Like, I've said this whole time, I think he could play forever. He makes some unbelievable saves. Obviously, I've known Craig a long time. He was actually in this building back in 2014. He was training with me. We were under 20s back then, so we've known each other for so long. So it's like, he's made that save, like, as if it's a reflection on everybody else who's younger, because he's still amazing at 43. Like, it's not our fault. He's still that good. Like he's a brick. He's an amazing goalie. Obviously, he's doing really well for Hearts. Contributed to a positive result for them last night, and I can't speak any higher enough of him. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper as well.
I think he's the best goalkeeper in Scotland.
Right.
Still.
Yep.
I genuinely do, Paul. People will question his distribution with his feet. And if you notice with Craig, when the ball goes back to him, he doesn't take any chance. He doesn't look for that pass into midfield, or he doesn't look for. He just says, "I'm booting it long." But Hearts
And that's
know
not
that.
the worst thing.
Listen, he's a goalkeeper. What's he there for? To keep the ball out the net. That's his job.
But too many of them. As somebody who's never played professionally, I see why are they doing all this tippy-tat at the back? And it ends up, back with the keeper, back out there, back here. Oh, somebody nips in and scores. Get the ball up the park.
Exactly.
Up the pitch.
And he can pass it. Don't understand me there.
sure.
But he's not going to go for something stupid. He's going to make the right choice more often than not. And sometimes that's putting the ball forward. And that's what he does. That's why I think he's the best goalkeeper in Scotland.
Kieran's on, a Celtic fan, 08, 08, 17, 17, 700, saying, why did he go from Celtic?
I don't know, Paul. I wasn't here at that particular time. I mean, I remember when he was training with Celtic, I think I was at West Ham at the time.
Okay.
And I phoned up Stevie Woods. And I went, listen, what about Craig Gordon? And this was.
Did you want him for West Ham?
Yeah, because he was at Sunderland at the time,
Yes.
and he'd been out injured.
I know.
And I'd said to Stevie Woods, Stevie went like, "You're not going to believe we've got him in the building." I went, "All right, okay." He said, "We're going to sign him."
Yeah.
I went,
Because he was training at Rangers.
I said, "Well, it depends. We maybe get him first." No, laughing.
Wow,
But-
so he
but-
could have been at West Ham?
Yeah, that particular. We would have taken him. We would have taken him, but Woods said he was in at Celtic, and we just left it then. If he was in at Celtic, fine. He was going to sign for Celtic.
You heard it here first.
And that was
I didn't
what
know that
happened.
one.
Yeah, that's what happened.
James, he's a remarkable keeper, a remarkable athlete.
Just the setbacks he's had, the injuries he's had, like everything. And I think that's good to Liam Kelly again. Like, we all do. We talk, as soon as you talk about Craig Gordon, we go for somebody at 43 or whatever. But like I think when you look more into him, what he's achieved, like he obviously got the move, broke into the Hearts team as a young kid, got the move, fantastic. I think it was a Scottish record, or for a goalkeeper anyway, it was a record. And goes to Sunderland, and then
UK record for goalkeeper. Yeah, you're right.
Gets that horrible knee injury that he then retires from. Goes into coaching at Dumbarton with Ian Murray. Then all of a sudden he's in at Celtic. He's winning league titles. He's winning Scottish Cups, and being a big part in that.
And the insurance payout was there for him, wasn't
Yes.
it? As a young man, young footballer, and probably I think it was more money than he was going to get going straight back in, even at
It
Celtic.
certainly would have been.
It's some story, isn't it?
Yeah, and then he probably retires for international football. He comes back to international football. He's now going to go to a World Cup. What a movie it would be.
3 times Player of the Year. I don't think it's ever been done. Craig Gordon.
Listen, but we've all said it, Paul. He's always been a fantastic goalkeeper. The thing I like about him, the biggest thing, and it's maybe the biggest thing James touched on about the fact that the important period that Hearts are going in, 16 games to go, he'll probably be the calmest person in the stadium.
Do you think? Yeah.
No,
Yeah, sure.
But even if he's feeling the nerves and that within, his demeanour tells you something different. And I think that's so vital as a goalkeeper. And that's why I'm not a big Pickford fan. And I know I'm going into England because I'm comparing like Scotland, England.
Yeah.
Because if I was a centre back, I'm sure James would be the same. If he get on the way he does and antics and out and blaming everybody else, Craig Gordon makes the save, gets up, and that was the most emotional I've seen him. Was that save he made last week?
Yeah.
That's the most I've ever seen him making that save. It was the most emotional, and that told you how important it was. And he knew how important it was. But I think he's going to be a massive player, and that's why I think it's a blow to the other clubs that he's coming into goals.
He should be our number one. James, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I said it the other night. And even if he doesn't play, if Derek takes him out, he should be Scotland's number one come the World Cup. But for me, again, and I keep going back to it because you don't want to try and tell people how to do their job, but Derek will pick the one that he believes will help Hearts try and win this league. But for me, it's if I'm in that seat, then it's Craig Gordon for me.
Let's go on the lines. Kevin is on. Hi, Kevin. Good evening.
How you doing, boys?
Evening, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah,
Good, pal.
good form. So, Kevin, where do you want to start?
Listen, before I start, I just want to say, as a Celtic fan, love Craig Gordon. Obviously, we could do it as a Hearts legend, but the job that he did for Celtic, the Celtic fans will never forget what he done for us. He deserves everything he's got, and I'm delighted that if he goes to a World Cup, I'll be absolutely delighted for him. Don't wish him nothing but good things, Craig Gordon.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what's on your mind tonight about Celtic?
Well, bit more positive tonight. There seems to be some good links with some players, and just to see, obviously, what all you think, but mainly, obviously, Peter, because he's the big Celtic man. But I'm hearing that Celtic are in for, there's a lot of links with Celtic in for the boy David Fofana back to Chelsea. He's back to Turkey now.
Yeah.
He's averaged a goal every 2 games. He's back at Chelsea, but he wants out. And there's a boy for Bal A winger, O'Telly, 7 million. His numbers are absolutely through the roof, but it looks like we've got a wee bit of a fight in our hands. We have with some Premier League teams and Italian teams in for him, and obviously Callum Wilson.
Yep.
Just to see what you think, what you think of the links here. Callum Wilson seems to me a wee bit like Carlton Cole Mark II, to be honest. A lot of hamstring issues, but just to see, but Jenk, he'd be a good fit.
That would be the only problem, because if you bring him in and he's not fit and you spend all your money on Callum, it's a problem. And if you look at his record, he's had the injuries with hamstrings, and the older you get, unfortunately, that'll come to his all, and especially when you've got to be sharp. But I must admit, I've watched West Ham a lot recently, obviously because I used to be there. When Callum played, they made them a better team recently. Then all of a sudden the manager moved him out, brought 2 new strikers in, which happens, we understand that, and obviously I think he's getting paid up with West Ham.
So it wasn't so much about injuries though?
No, not at this time. He's back fit, Paul, so he was back playing the games.
Made a change.
Nuno's made a change there.
Right.
And
that's good
as
to
I
know.
say, there is absolutely no doubt, if he's fit and you put the ball in the box, he will score.
Yeah.
He's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, he's got the know-how. The players that won't like, defenders will know they're playing against him as well.
Is that a factor that Ian Acho's there?
No, I take the 2 of them.
Right.
As long as both of them are fit.
Yeah.
You're fantastic, you know what I mean? Great if you
So
can
if you
get
were
the 2
Martin, you'd be in at the treatment room saying, right, OK, check Ian Acho, who was seen at training, I think, and if you could get Callum Wilson. Now, the wages would be big, wouldn't they? Saudi Arabia apparently is calling.
They're not as big as you're going to win the league, Paul.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
play in front of 60,000.
If you're going to win the league, but to be fair to the player, I think he would maybe go to Saudi Arabia.
Do you?
I do. These English boys don't look at Celtic as if, like the way we would look and say, that's my club.
Some of them do.
Some of them do.
Much more. Some of them,
Roy Keane done it late in his
that's
career.
Right, yeah.
Sort of things. But some other guys, I don't think the money's available, Paul, it is in Saudi Arabia now. It is mind-blowing.
Okay.
See the wages, Paul, he's just said, so that you know, he's actually on a pay-as-you-play contract.
Yeah, sure.
So he's rumoured to be on less than 10 grand a week, but he gets
That's correct. That's right, Kevin.
Sure.
No, that's fact.
I think he doubles or trebles it every time he plays, but he's only on 10 grand a week.
Sure.
Standard, so I don't think wages would be a big issue. It might just be maybe if he's getting the Saudi offer, then obviously there's only one place he's going to go. But,
of course. So
I think wages would be not
all
too
right.
bad.
What about Fofana, guys? What do you reckon? He's been mentioned for days. Do you think this could happen?
I'm only a wee bit concerned about Fofana coming back, because there's a boy went in for Celtic, isn't there, I think, recently, as one of the scouting. He's been taken to come in.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if he's maybe been part of bringing Fofana to Chelsea,
Okay.
you know, in the recruitment side of it. So he'll know more about Fofana, obviously, in that respect. But what I found when I was down south at that particular time, especially in London, see, trying to get these boys, see if they want to, they would rather sit in Chelsea and train to the end of the season than play. And the pressures that come along with playing with Celtic, unless he's got the right character, and that would be the biggest thing for me. I find a lot of the guys at Chelsea don't want to go out and don't want to go on loan because they love living in London and they've not got the pressure of a game on a Saturday. It sounds bizarre, but that's what some of these guys like. I'm not saying Fofana's like that, but maybe that's what the connection is. And I'm hoping if the guy's in at Celtic now, he knows enough about the personality, what he could bring to Celtic. And if that's the case and he thinks he can do the job, well, he's near enough got to be guaranteed to do the job.
Yeah.
Maybe on his head, because he knows him well enough and he's seen him a lot more than me.
And Kevin mentioned O'Telly, maybe 7 million. James, Peter, do you see Celtic spending 7 million on a player during the window?
We spoke about Kieran Bowie for 6 million earlier and saying when you get to this point, you might have to do that. We're forever speaking about the money Celtic have got in the bank, but it's not like them to go and do that and spend that big on. I know they have, but look, we think it'll be more loan deals. We think the money will go to that. But I'm with Peter on the one with Callum Wilson. He comes up here, the defenders certainly will know they're in the game. And when we're talking about Maeda on Wednesday night not being able to take the ball in, Callum can do that. Callum could do that when he was 18, and he's went and had this fantastic career. And if the wages aren't the issue and you can somehow get into his head or get round about the Saudi deal, because like knowing him, and even when he made the move, because he got offered a deal with pay-as-you-play at Newcastle, the reason he decided to leave, like I don't think he was going to, or in his head he wasn't going to get the game time. He still had the ambition to go to another World Cup for England. Now that's a long shot, miles away now for Callum Wilson. He's been to the last one, but that was that then. He's still really ambitious to get back playing. He's frustrated with the injuries he's had. He's had injuries since he's a kid. He had a serious knee injury. Now the hamstrings are starting to play up. But just for me and for Scottish football, I agree. Like, I've seen younger players coming out, and we see that the games Fofana's played, it's Callum Wilson's probably scored more goals than what Fofana's played. So does that mean he would come up and be better? No, it doesn't. But just for, I know the character of the boy, like, and if he come up here, he'd excite Scottish football if he was fit.
Kevin, you were really frustrated a few days ago. You obviously sound much more optimistic tonight.
Just because of the reports that I'm getting, I've not got to give them any clout to tell you who it is, but these people have got hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. They're reputable people.
Sure.
There is another link with a guy called Ilic for Slovenia, but I wasn't even going to mention his name because I don't think we've got any chance of getting him. The boy's getting 27 goal contributions already this season, but everybody's in for him. So
is that the one in Germany, Kevin? Is he playing in Germany, is he? There's a guy that we're getting mentioned in Germany, and I agree with you, that's when you've got a problem.
I tell you,
That's going to be really hard.
We did hear Martin O'Neill saying earlier, well, you know, hopefully, he said he's not enjoying, he likes seeing the media, but it's not quite backs to the wall for him because he's only been in for 10 days. But he did say for the Hearts game, he would be hopeful to have someone in by then. This is exactly what he said about the coming days.
I can't think that there, but I'd be hoping by some stage next week that we'd have people in. I'm actually very worried I've said that now, but
he's got a great way with people. We're talking about Scottish Cup memories today. This was Martin O'Neill's, Kevin. This is what he said this afternoon.
For me, yeah, some good and some bad. I think that obviously won a few times, which was great. I think my memories of Scottish Cup as a kid growing up was always because the only live game on TV would be in the English Cup final, but you're always getting news through at half-time what was happening up at Hampden. And and I mean the crowds that used to go to the games were phenomenal. So then to come up and win it a few times was great, and then to lose, particularly to Caledonian Thistle on way back when, well, it was my fault really because I changed the team around completely. I didn't know whether we would have the energy, having just beaten Liverpool on the Thursday night, and you know, so some good and some bad.
And Peter, that's football, isn't it? I mean, nobody will. You'll never forget that night at Anfield. Alan Thompson, John Hartson.
But it's amazing Martin's talking about the disappointment.
Yeah.
That's what it means to you, Paul. I mean, I think more about the 9-8 to Aberdeen in penalty kicks than I do about the other ones.
Was that 1990?
1990, and then we went 6 years without winning the trophy.
Yeah, you did.
And that's a big disappointment because I've been there to see both. But even in the build-up to games and everything, the Scottish Cup's something different. You know, there is no doubt of that. You know, the league, you know what you've got to do in the league.
That must have been tough for you last May, given that was the Aberdeen-Celtic game came up so often in the days leading up to it.
Well, exactly. You were here, and listen, it was good friends of me playing with Aberdeen. Charlie came to us straight after it. You know, Big Brian Irvine scores the winning penalty, and Anton Rogan, who'd done exceptionally well in the game, misses a penalty. But it wasn't really a bad miss. It was a fantastic save for a fantastic goalkeeper in Theo Schnelders.
He was big Theo Schnelders, who was at Rangers then.
And that's the beauty, Paul. It can go that way in a cup tie.
How good was Charlie Nicholas then? Obviously, I remember him in his pomp. He scored 50 goals around about 1982 before he went to Arsenal. Arsenal wanted him, Liverpool and Man United.
Yeah, I think Liverpool was the biggest one because with Kenny and that was getting mentioned there, and obviously follow Kenny's footsteps. I think Charlie's been quoted up, and maybe I'm wrong, saying that he maybe should have made that move. And I think managers changed at Arsenal as well. But he still hit. Listen, the Arsenal fans still adore him.
They love him.
So it shows you how well. Because I think he scored 2 goals in the League Cup final, if I'm right, against Luton, was it? Against Luton. Right. But he's a terrific player. Charlie, he's unbelievable
the
talent.
Cannonball Kid. That's what Jimmy Sampson's from, the Cannonball Kid.
Obviously scored wonderful goals. But remember his goal for Scotland against Switzerland?
I was there.
He flips it up one and then hits it over with his other.
Have a look at that on YouTube.
But he's got all the skills. Charlie Divin, he didn't need pace because he could lose you with just that wee swivel. But he had fantastic technique.
And McCoist, the great striker for Rangers. Kevin, coming back to you in a moment. Argyle would love to play. His son would love to play against Celtic, but it's not going to happen. Is that right? He's a big striker.
He's a striker, yes, and he's a good friend of my boys as well, and they think he's a fantastic kid. But I don't think he can play. I'm not sure if it's one he's either cup tie, Paul, or he was signed too late.
A real shame, isn't it?
He romance of the cup.
Yeah, Ibrox and
so you want to bend the rules for Argyle McCoist?
There's just rules there, and these stories pop up, and we can talk about the magic of the cup and how. But for those Annan, I know one, Paul McGowan's going down. He's probably hoping he's no playing because he'll just get stick and his hair's falling out there, and just that he's getting to the end of his career, so he's quite happy not playing. But for Ali's boy. It's just such a shame.
Kevin, thanks so much for your call. We'll speak to you
Thank you.
next week.
Thanks,
Thanks, Kevin. Quick break and then we're back.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yep, delighted to be here tonight. And in this very studio, Hunter and Hockey will be on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. The business show is back after their festive break. And it's not to be missed, the Scottish budget, of course, early in the week. And I'll be really interested to hear what Willie Hockey and Tom Hunter, what they've got to say about it. There's almost such common sense. There's gems in there as well. So, yep, that's Sunday morning. Politics show will be back soon as well with Bernard Ponsonby. He'll be here. And, of course, we've got the Scottish election year coming up. They're all tuned in here, Peter. That's all I can tell you.
Yep. Great listen, Paul, and great advice.
Yep.
I listen to a lot of it, you know.
Great.
I've been at a couple of things with Bernard. By the way, he can speak, isn't he?
He can.
Fantastically
Indeed.
well. He's
Yep.
a great, as an orator.
Yeah,
Is that the word you
you
would
could call him an orator.
That's
Yeah, I'm
what he
sure
speaks.
Laurie would call him an orator.
He speaks very well.
He is, isn't he? STV, he was the political editor there for many, many years. We're delighted we've got him here at Go Radio, Glasgow's own 0808 17 17 700. And we're just watching for the Rangers team. Has anyone sent it to you early, James? Or that doesn't happen this season. Remember that last year?
I'm not getting it. Not getting anything now. The
nothing
longer
yet.
you're out, Paul, you get.
Is that right? It goes quieter.
I'll try to
Yeah.
get Hibs and Dunfermline for them more if they've done any shit.
That's
but
right, yeah. Who's your match commentator? Do you know? Tomorrow?
Commentator is Al Lamont. and
Al Lamont. Yep. And you and Kevin Thompson on the
know
beat.
who the other
No
one
more
is.
plugs. We'd have to charge Anti-Beeb for that one. Premier Sport, I guess, will have some of the games
Celtic,
as well.
they've got
Yeah.
Celtic on Sunday for
Sure.
sure. Yeah, definitely have.
Because you left for the game the other night.
Yes, I did, and then you realised.
Yeah, it was on Premier Sport. I didn't realise I was listening to Radio Scotland. A great coverage, and it was really good.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's on Premier Sport, so maybe they should get advertising on Go Radio or any other outlet that you choose. Just waiting for the Rangers team. Let's hear a bit more from Danny Rule. Tour Romans is in town. And a few other. Just waiting to hear about Olsen, but no, not yet. He spoke about the title race. He was also asked yesterday how many more signings are coming in.
I cannot tell you exactly a number, but we are still looking for some more positions. Yeah, I think we have also, this is not a secret with the injury from Connor. It changed a little bit also what we need as well on this position. We have strong players, we have with Tochi a new one, but still a long way to go, and we have to make sure that our midfield is strong.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment or two. Here is the Rangers lineup. Thank you, James. Liam Kelly, of course, in goals. Max Aarons is back in. Giga is back in. Enciala and Megoma. Rothwell, Dowell, whom we mentioned earlier, Danilo, Gassama, Curtis and Miofsky. So quite a number of changes there. Wright is the substitute goalkeeper. Suter on the bench. Chukwani, so you might see him tonight, signed, £4.5 million during the week, 4 million. Diamandi, Asgard, Lawson, Moore, Matondo, and striker Chermiti, the £8 to £10 million man. So there you are, Kelly. Quite a number of changes. Aarons, Giga, Enciala and Megoma. Rothwell, Dowell and Danilo, with Gassama, Curtis as well, and Miofsky. And, of course, Curtis, we expect to be going, or we thought he'd be going to Kilmarnock on loan. Just giving you time to get the team there. What do you make of it, James? So he's ringing the changes for the cup.
He is ringing the changes. When you read through it, it's still a strong team, but players like Rothwell, we were speaking on Wednesday night about being linked with a loan move. Being in, we were talking earlier on about Dowell maybe
Kieran Dowell
potentially leaving,
because they've got to get some of these players on big wages off the bill.
And look, this may help, because then as much as you're saying they're fit, they're up to speed or whatever, so can you sell it in a way to the other team that they've played a game? But I just don't know how much they'll look into that. Like, interestingly, no Lyle Cameron at all on the bench, so although we spoke about Finlay Curtis the other night going to Kilmarnock. So
has he been unlucky this season, given that he started like a rocket? Peter, wasn't it 3 goals in the early games?
Yeah, he's found himself. It's been disappointing for the boy, because you think he comes in, you want to stay in, and he did. And he came on and done very well for them when he was asked to come on. Now all of a sudden you've got Mikey Moore doing well, which I found strange when Russell brought Mikey Moore in, because every time I'd seen Mikey Moore, and I'd seen quite a lot down in South, he always played through the middle. So he seems to be playing there more now, and he seems to be, obviously Rangers are getting the benefit from it. So you're looking at that, you've got Curtis in there. And listen, maybe it is an opportunity to give these guys a game. Maybe the other teams are not considering, worrying about the Scottish Cup or whatever in the respect of that. They're wanting for league, if it's a Kilmarnock, for instance, to get out of the position in a predicament they're in. So they're quite willing for them to get cup tied. They're not interested in anything else, because the league's most important for them. But the ones down south, they will want to see the Rothwells, because he's been mentioned with Sheffield United, isn't he, quite a bit?
Yeah, he has.
Their results have not been that great in the last couple of
they've
weeks.
struggled, haven't they?
After struggled really at the start, and then had a brilliant run. Then they've started it, which can happen, as James will tell you, in the Championship. But there's maybe somebody like Rothwell they'll be looking at and want to see. Dowell will definitely get moved down south, because they love him down there. He's very highly rated down there, and if he just shows he's fit, he will definitely get moved down south.
Interesting as well that not only are Rangers bringing players in, all the talky even outgoings are from Rangers. There's no so much for Celtic either or like, so they seem to be well on the ball in what they're doing. They're, like, obviously the Lyle Cameron one came out today. Kieran Dowell came out today. Finlay Curtis has been linked for a week or so with Kilmarnock, but it seems to be that they've got things right in there. And no, we don't know if the players are the right ones that are coming in. Obviously, we've got to see them first before we make comment on them. But they look to be doing things properly. Although at Celtic at the minute, I don't think you could say let him go anyway, because I don't think Celtic's squad is big or strong enough. So, but it's interesting to see the way they are doing it in at Ibrox at the minute.
Yeah, the new. We're still waiting. I mean, he may be shown. He might come out tonight, Peter Skov Olsen.
If he does sign, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. because if he plays to his capabilities, it'd be really good for Scottish football, not just Rangers, because he's an exciting boy, he carries the ball up the pitch. A bit different from the ones that want to come inside and play on the opposite side. He's more of a straight line runner. I said it all night, I think it's Jesper Gronke, you remember him, James?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
good
very
player.
similar to him. He's very direct and, and wants to run at you and take full-backs on. And you can see that Danny Roll's team are a bit more like that. That's what I like about them. It's more German-based team in the respect it's not pass for the sake of passing. If you've got to go forward and you've got an opportunity to run into space, they do that.
Is that what they do?
And he can run really quick.
Yeah.
He can run quick.
Billy's on saying, I hope and I'm sure that he's a Brian Laudrup and not an Aaron Ramsey, because it just didn't work for Aaron Ramsey. And listen, what a player he was. Welsh international, Arsenal loved him.
Completely different players, Paul.
Yeah, of course.
Completely different
I think
players.
it was just
he's talking about injuries wise, and that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's had injuries. I thought he was just not playing. But if he's fit and plays at the capabilities, I think, as I said to you before, it was more the love of football. You hear stories talking about, you know what it's like about football players. You hear about, James McPake doesn't like football, whatever. It's like the boy, is it Ben White?
Yeah,
Plays
Arsenal,
at Arsenal. Wouldn't watch a game if it was on. Doesn't like football.
Wow.
And you can
He's struggling
understand
to get
why.
a game now,
But you can
so-
understand why there was a problem maybe for him in the World Cup, because everything was football when you're at the World Cup. Everything you do away, there's always meetings, and you can imagine if he doesn't like football and it's 24/7 football. That's why I think he gets sent home if I'm right.
How can you be
Unbelievable.
Like,
I know.
if that's the case, why come out and say it? Like, I don't know if it, but how
That's
can you-
honesty, but
I know, but
it didn't help
or
him.
stupidity.
I know.
I don't know. It's because you're a professional, a top club.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously,
And
the
you're
England
coming-
cricket team in Australia went out and enjoyed themselves maybe too much, so it wasn't cricket. Although, to be fair to the cricketers, they're away forever, aren't they?
But they come back and go away again, Paul.
I know. Back to Sri Lanka.
You know,
I know.
Listen, people have got to let their hair down.
Yeah.
But it's like everything else. If you're winning, nobody bothers. Nobody bothers.
Liam Kelly gets a rare chance to play for Rangers tonight. He's speaking about the threat of Annan and also the possibility of playing, which when he was speaking he wasn't sure, but I think he was. And he's in the team.
That'll be great. Obviously, if the manager selects me, then I'll be delighted to play again. Obviously, I know how difficult it is to get one game for Rangers. Coming through the academy here is obviously a real privilege if you get one game. So every chance you get to play, obviously, I'm really grateful. So,
And he got a few last season under Barry Ferguson and didn't let Rangers down at all. But Barry's move worked because Jack Butland came back at his best. He mentioned about the Queen's Park game last year, and it's a reminder for everyone at Rangers.
aye, obviously, I think on that day, obviously, everything that could have possibly went wrong. So, like you say, it was an awful thing that happened at the time, but in a way, it's something to remind us that if we come off the boil, then we're going to get punished. And listen, the way the manager's been since he came in the door, I don't think he'll be allowing us to take our foot off the gas at all. And it's an opposition we're treating the exact same way that we treated Celtic. We're just preparing the exact same way.
Peter, Annan in town. Danny Roll, not that long ago, is working with Hansi Flick, isn't he? Right at the top. And what a chance for these Annan players. That's what I'm getting to, up against Danny Roll's Rangers.
Yeah, big respect to every opponent. I think this is important. You saw this in the last couple of days. Yesterday, Real Madrid out of the cup. Crystal Palace out of the cup. You never know. You have to be very focused on this game as well. But I make sure we will rotate some positions. This is normal because some players deserved also to get a chance. And I'm convinced even the players they come now in, they are ready for this game and should be ready. I think this is also part. And we prepared this very serious. We use this week, of course, also for some load management. Some players will be not in the squad tomorrow because they played a lot. But the cup is a cup game.
And he's made changes, as we told you a moment ago. Comment on that in a second, Peter. Here's John on, a Rangers fan. Hi, John. Good evening.
Hello there, Farrell.
Hi, John.
Thanks for taking the call. Hi lads. Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
It's been a really good hour or so that I've been listening.
Oh, thank you.
But my question is, not necessarily as a Rangers fan or supporter, season ticket holder, where are we going wrong in Scottish football? I know that's a kind of perennial question. You know, you talk about transfer windows, bringing this former in, that former, everything else. And no harm to the Scotland team, we've done it, McTominay, all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Where are the Scottish? And I will say this, you know, Peter and obviously, you know, Jake and that. But where are our homegrown players going wrong. I mean, like I say, with myself at Rangers, we'll get young Finlay Curtis, Bailey Rice. What is happening to these young players? Are they making a certain step and then missing out? Because obviously, like through Scotland, like everybody else, we would love to see 11 Scots in our teams and the national teams. Any ideas, lads?
It's a great point. Peter?
Oh, it's my biggest bugbear, John. My biggest thing is, I keep saying to you now, there's too many substitutes for a start. So it allows me to bring a big squad in. You watch youth level, there's 7 subs at the side of youth level, and it's all the way down. So you have a lot of these boys not playing. And it used to be anybody that wasn't good enough for Celtic or Rangers would go to Aberdeen, Dundee United, you name it, all the way down the pyramid, but they were all playing, and they were all excellent players. That's why the other teams were so strong.
And was that with the reserves at that time? Or?
But Paul, people think about the reserves. People talk to me now as if the reserves was fully old men.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
I know.
They carried squads.
People on the way up.
Paul, we won the league with 16 players.
Right.
That was what it was. 16 players. Yes, 16 players were used.
Yeah.
You know, the managers wouldn't make a sub.
I know.
In the games. So my biggest problem is I go to youth football, I go all over, and I see 7 and 8 people, and they're all predominantly young Scottish boys. And don't tell me they're not good young players.
That's right.
But nobody gets to see them. There's a thing now that will say, oh, he's only allowed so many minutes, he's got to come off. So all these things, and John's 100% right. The biggest thing for me, schools football, I know that nobody plays it anymore. All the pitches are getting taken up. I go over the 50 pitches. I've told the story so many times, Paul, and they were empty on a Saturday morning at 10:30 in the morning. Because they're not allowed to play, Paul.
So young Scots players are not getting an opportunity. There's not enough organised football, and there's too many standing on the sidelines. James, what do you feel?
I think it's a great call. I really do. I think Peter's answer is excellent as well. But I also think that, in particular, the 2 big clubs are lazy when it comes to certain Scottish players. And you look in the Scottish squad at the minute, the midfield, Lennon Miller. Why did Celtic or Rangers not take him?
He would have joined them a year ago just now.
Yep, John McGinn should have been at Celtic. They wouldn't pay the money to Hibs. Lewis Ferguson went from Hamilton to Aberdeen. Again, why?
His dad's Derek Ferguson.
Exactly.
His uncle's Barry Ferguson. It didn't. Do you know what? I've gone about the bluffers. The bluffers in football departments, there's good people there. Of course there are. But people who didn't think that it was a good idea to bring these players to Rangers or Celtic, they're not doing their jobs.
And the one that you can accept, and I seen it because I was in the youth coaching, was Billy Gilmore. Now, he went to Chelsea as a kid. So you can accept that in a way, because even by the time he wasn't ready for Rangers first team, although he'd been training. Peter brings a great point up earlier in the show when he talks about Kieran Bowie, and we'll turn our nose up in Scotland if we turn round and say, oh, it's £6 million. But if he moves to England, he's then, or whatever. The other one for me is Josh Mulligan. Now he went on a free. I know Rangers were trying, but obviously didn't come through their analytics.
Well, Kevin Thelwell, I think during that era they didn't want him. John.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. Listen, totally agree with everything that's been said there. We're all Scottish football fans, and we're all Scottish people. What my big bugbear is, like say Lewis Ferguson, Josh Mulligan, Billy Gilmore didn't get a chance, right? Probably viewed as too small, but as a 5 foot, well, 4 foot 8.5, whatever. You see my point. But does Rangers and Celtic not want to put out the money to other Scottish clubs in case they pick up another 3 or 4 diamonds from out West Scotland?
Okay.
And threaten them.
John, great call. Hopefully we'll speak to you again. We're going to talk more about it after this quick break.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Football Show with Burger King.
Yep, we will give you the Rangers team, which is the 7:45 kick-off tonight. Last 7 or 8 minutes of the programme. It's been racing in this evening. John, people are on already saying they completely agree with you. So much money is being shipped down south and overseas. Where's the young Scottish talent getting a chance to come through? And James, you said something significant. You said it's lazy.
It is, for me, and it's just my opinion. But the two, and another one came out, Ben Gannon Doak, that's another one I don't think you can have a go at Celtic, I don't think you can have a go at Rangers for Billy Gilmore. Those were moves that financially made sense for the player, for the club. But the other ones, for whatever reason, they're no fashionable enough to go to Celtic or Rangers in some people's eyes. It's just the John McGinn one still annoys me. You look at the Scotland midfield, or you look at that Scotland team, and I quickly noted down a few ones, but when you look at it and you go, why have we not seen them at Celtic and Rangers playing in the Champions League for our two top clubs or whatever? But and especially when you've got a few in there that you've got the link with Lewis Ferguson. In Rangers, you've got the link with John McGinn in Celtic. It should be a given.
They would have got him for about £3 million, for example. I'm talking about Lewis Ferguson.
Celtic would have got McGinn for what, 2? Yeah. It's madness.
But there's the summertime there. Rangers were desperate for a left back. Everybody was talking about left back. The best left back probably last season, out with Greg Taylor, believe it or not, was Penrice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's away to Greece, and you're thinking. And we had a caller on, if you remember, Paul, a few months ago, and he'd done a back four for Rangers and a central midfield. I can't remember all the names he mentioned, and they were better. They'd have been starters for Rangers, but they were all Scottish teams that they could have possibly got. Stuart Finley's went into Hearts because Derek knew him, but Derek said he wouldn't have been able to get him only because he managed him, and they trusted him because he wasn't on the analytics. He didn't come up trumps on analytics.
Oh, right.
So they wouldn't have been able to sign him only because Derek went in as manager and had him on loan.
Okay.
That's why they've...
So do you think the analytics are more focused on England and maybe other areas rather than the Scottish
just
game?
didn't fill of things that didn't hit the criteria.
Oh, he didn't hit the
criteria they were
markers.
looking for.
All right, okay.
So you're having all these problems. Listen, we had the great John Kelman, God rest him, as you know, John.
At Celtic,
he would have the eyes, then he would send the assistant manager, then the manager would go and see the players. You'd always have people looking on the ground, but there's always players there. But the biggest problem is these guys all could still be here now, Paul, and can't see anything because there's nobody playing football out there. They're all standing at the side.
So who in football is going to have the cojones to say, right, we need a root and branch change here and effect change?
Can I say one thing to you now, Paul?
Yeah.
What I would do tomorrow...
Yes.
Out with the first team, there would never be 7 or 8 subs. There'd be 2 maximum.
Yeah,
I'd do that tomorrow, and that would give us a start. That was me personally. That would make it as simple as possible.
Is anyone at the SFA, SPFL going to do it? Ian Maxwell, Neil Doncaster? I get it for the managers. They're just trying to win 3 points or stay in a cup. I get it. It's a revolving door. But somebody or people have to get together because otherwise the Scottish game, for young people coming through, they'll find something else.
But what they will say is they tried it with performance schools and they'll say that was a success. Why was it a success? Because we got John McGinn through a performance school, Kenny McLean through a performance school, Lennon Miller through, I might be wrong with a few of these, but Lennon Miller through so all these players that have then went on and played in first teams came through the performance
Andy
school.
Robertson, who might be getting a new contract at Liverpool, I see.
But Paul, they were all performance schools, James. St Pat's and Coatbridge, when we were there was a performance school. Lanarkshire schools, Airdrie schools, they were all performance schools. You were out playing with your best, and that's when you see people at their best. These guys are not playing.
They're not getting a chance now.
That's the biggest problem. So forget the word performance school, SFA performance school. You'll get Billy Gilmore getting through up. Okay, great, for certain instances. But they stop playing football apart from their clubs. That's the problem. The biggest enjoyment, Paul, I got playing through my career was playing with my school team because they were my best mates.
We'll continue this and get a bit of a campaign going next week. Last few minutes. So Rangers Annan on tonight. Scoreline, I know Taylor was on earlier. She thought 3 or 4-1 on the way to the game. I'm
going 5-0.
5-0. Peter?
2-0 Annan.
2-0.
I'm only joking. I went 5-0 Rangers.
Okay, it's like going to the dentist to be here with him, honestly. That's an in-joke. Dunfermline against Hibs, your game tomorrow, James. Peter, who's going to win on that one? The Pars or the Highbees?
Oh, I'm going to Pentley Kicks.
Oh, wow. And who's going to win?
Dunfermline.
Dunfermline? Oh, a cup shock, James?
No, I fancy Hibs tomorrow. I just think they've got too much.
Airdrie Bro, Camelin against Elgin, Dundee United, Ayr United. James, who do you fancy there?
Dundee United I think Brunel got there and make a go of it, but
Jamie Murphy was in that seat on Wednesday night. He was speaking highly of you as well. No, it's they would be the favourites. Dundee. Peter, who do you reckon on that one?
Dundee United,
Yep.
2-1, Paul.
Dundee, okay. There's Kelty Hearts against Cove Rangers. What about Kilmarnock against Dundee? The Neil McCann, he's got that wee bit, hasn't he, about the way he was treated there. But what do you reckon scoreline, Peter?
Penalty kicks, 1-1 penalty kicks, and Dundee to go through.
Really? Mm-hmm. At Rugby Park, okay.
I'm going 1-0 Dundee. I fancy them to go down there and win as well.
Do you? Yeah, okay. Livy against St Mirren, another all-Premier tie. James?
2-1 Livy.
You going for Livy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not know what I like about that. I know we've not got much time, but both clubs have said they don't want VAR. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with them.
And there'll be no VAR at the game I'm doing as well. So
Peter,
great.
2-1
I can see you you're the same. So, my goodness, I mean, St Mirren haven't won, as we all know, since they won the League Cup. Motherwell against Ross County. Peter?
4-0 Motherwell.
We're going for the Well.
Motherwell.
Yeah. Partick Thistle Montrose. You expect the Jags?
Thistle comfortably.
Peter's nodding.
Yep.
Spartans Inverness Cally Thistle. Stenhousemuir Morton. What about that one?
I'm going for Stenhousemuir now.
What?
Because of the pitch and everything.
All
I know.
right, okay.
I just think
Yep.
Stenhousemuir are in good form at this moment in time.
Fancy Morton. Just.
Yeah. Stranraer against Queen's Park. Queen's Park, the surprise package last year. Peter?
I'm going to go for Stranraer in this one because I think Stranraer have been playing well recently.
Okay.
And it's going to be a tough one for Queen's
Stair
Park.
Penalties in that one. I'll go Queen's Park.
Well done. That is the Glasgow station. Hearts against Falkirk. So that's Saturday evening at 8. Must be on the telly. James, who do you fancy?
Hearts just, but I think that'll be a brilliant game.
Okay, Hearts just. I know Falkirk are playing so well.
I'm going to go for Hearts 3-0.
3-0? Okay. Do you think Falkirk are going to concentrate on the league?
Not necessarily that. I just think Hearts.
Okay.
I've got new boys in and new players.
Aberdeen Wraith Rovers.
Changers.
Sorry, I just realised the time. You going for the Dons?
Aberdeen.
Yep.
Aberdeen, Paul.
The cup holders. And Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic. What do you think, Peter?
4-1 Celtic.
4-1 Celtic.
6-0 Celtic.
James 6-0. Okay, thanks everyone. It's flown in tonight. Thank you so much, James and Peter.
Pleasure, Paul.
Thank you.
And to everyone, want to thank you for making the switch, for tuning in and watching as well to the Go Radio Football Show. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes working on it, to Gary and to executive producer James and everybody. So we'll be back on Monday night with Barry Ferguson and Mark Goody. Big Charlie's away playing at a tournament this weekend in Germany. That's what he tells me. Listen, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. We're back Monday night at 5.